Okay, so here we have a sample picture which we are going to draw it by using the pen tool so that we can create a vector image, because you know that this picture is this image is a raster image, and for this we can create a vector image. And there are many ways you can do it, and the simple way of doing that is also there, but that may not look that much good, which I will show you once before coming back to our actual work. Let me show you something else. Okay, so here, I hope it's visible. Okay, in this picture, okay, if I click here once, and then if within the properties, there is something called image trace, right? Okay, and then crop image is also there. So please hold 1 minute. Okay, I will come back now. Just 1 minute. Okay, okay, chalo. All right. So here, as you can see, if I click here, there are some options which you might check, but the most interesting part is this one, image trace. Okay, if I click here once, and then there are certain other options are there which you can check it by yourself. They are almost the same. Okay, they all will create some kind of different art. Okay, but the main thing I wanted to tell is if I click this high fidelity photo, and then if I click OK, okay, see, this picture will be created to some kind of it will try to convert into vector by itself. And for converting that, depending on the picture quality and then depending on your GPU of your computer, it takes some time. Okay, so we will wait for this one. And while waiting for this, see all these part, okay, all these parts will be created in the vectors, but for each and every pixel or some group of pixel which have similar colors, the illustrator will try to create a it will try to create anchor points. Okay, so it will have a lot of anchor points, and those anchor points, using those anchor points, you can edit the picture again. Okay, so it actually goes around 5 to 6 process. Let's think this one is the final process. After this, you can check with your direct selection tool here whether it is properly created or not. If it is not created, you need to go to object again and then expand that. Okay, why is it expanding? Is because it used to be created under a compound path. Compound path means, or compound layer, or compound shape. It's because all the vector here all connected together as one picture. So in order to expand that, we used to go to object and expand it. Okay, so let us see if it is created from the starting itself, then it'll be good. If not, we need to go to the selection tool. After that, we'll be able to edit the anchor points. Okay, so we're still waiting. So what I suggest you is you try to use some low quality pictures. Okay, and because the picture quality that I'm using now is quite high, it will go through the same process, but the time it has to take. It depends on the picture quality. Okay, all right, so it is done, but here make sure it's because of the high memory. Right, so it is done, I guess, but using this one, I still cannot see the anchor point. So what I will do is I'll go to object and expand once again. So everything, object and field, select both of them, and let's see. Okay, so here it is. We have the anchor points. A lot of anchor points are there. Okay, where we can select and edit those points. But since my picture has a lot of points, it will take some time to edit all these. Okay, and let's see if I can bring it down like this. Yeah, I just edited this hair part. Okay, so those things you can also check by yourself. But when you're doing that, try to select a low quality picture first, just for practicing. And if you need a high definition of such thing, then you can use the high quality picture, but it's going to take a lot of time. Okay, and along with that, of course, you can also ungroup them and then I think they'll group together. Yes, you can also ungroup them and let's see what kind of grouping they have done. Here, still many, all of them are grouped together. I'll ungroup again, and we need to be patient with this. You see all the small bits of colors, they are in different groups. So those things, if I select this part, let's say, and delete it, you can see that I can remove those parts. Okay, because they are already in a vector image. Okay, so that's what you can do after selecting. Remember, for this one, after selecting, let me remove all this. Okay, because it's going to take a lot of time for me to edit with the Illustrator while it is still there. So remember, this one, image trace, you can select either high or low. Okay, after doing that, it will go through some process. After processing, if we check with direct selection tool, and if it doesn't work, you go to add object and then expand once again. Okay, after you'll be able to edit with direct selection tool. Okay, leaving aside that, there is just one tip. Coming back to our vector face art, which has a lot of thing to do with the with your pen tool. Okay, first of all, I have had this layer and I keep it locked because you know the reason. Okay, while I'm doing it, I might move it mistakenly, and I don't want to do that because if I move it mistakenly, the next thing I do, they will not be aligned properly as per our original picture. And time to time, you might be using like this just to see if it is coming out correctly or not. Okay, so remember that you should have opened the properties. And while doing this one, always remember the shortcut Shift X for interchanging between the fill color and stroke color. Okay. Okay. So for starting, this Zoom is blocking my layers in here. Yeah, I'll just for once I'll delete like this. Okay. All right, so I have a layer, and this layer, let me take it out something like this. Yeah, so I can work freely. Okay, here we have this layer, and using this layer, we have to make the different parts of the face. Okay, and I'm not going to do every part because it is going to take a lot of time. So in order to save our time, I will just make only the basic features. Okay. All right. Starting with I always start with this one. Okay. Even if I'm drawing with pencil, also I used to start with here. Even if I'm drawing with this Illustrator, I used to start with this because this is foundation for any facial part, because here you try to estimate the distance from here to here and from below that also. Okay, so this is a good part to start with, right? Because below that you also have another important part. If you make a mistake, if you do something here and then if you make a mistake here, you have to start all over again. Okay, so let's start with eyebrow. Okay, I'll make a new layer, and for each layer you try to color them, not color, I'm sorry, rename them. Okay, and clicking on that only. Remember, if you click here and start drawing, it's not the way, because you've already named a layer so that you can draw on top of that. Okay, so here's the first thing that you should make sure of, that you can either go for the most detailing or you can go for a rough detailing. I'm going for the rough one. Okay, and for the rough one, you just don't look at every angle in detail. You look at the outline only. So in this case, see, there is one more line here, there is outer line here again. So I'm going to go for the outer lines. Okay, so I will start from here. Okay, remember it's kind of a curve, so that's why I'm not starting directly from here. I'm starting from here, so when I end I can come with curve like this later on. Okay, so those small things matter. And then whenever I draw it, it should be a stroke, not a fill color. So for that, the shortcut, as you know, it's Shift X. Okay, and if possible, if you can draw where I have taken out these layers, because I can go to properties and adjust all this also. Okay, anyway, I will reduce this one to 0.5. Yeah, that's more better for me to draw. Okay, see, one more thing. If I do just directly like this, it's a straight line. Fine, for a straight line, just continue with it. Okay, but the next thing is there is a small curve here, all right, which I'm going to cover with the hair also, but still then there's a curve. And for such kind of curve, let's say this is my curve, okay? But if I continue from here, see, there is something that is coming out. Now, if I want to click here again, this is not what I want. I want to come down somewhere around like this, okay? So for such kind of curve, because you have just ended a curve, when you have ended that, you click on the point once again, then only you try to continue like this. Okay, and then there is a curve again. So imagine the curve is like this. That means you're not going to go and directly end here. If you can do that also, that is also okay. But see, I'm going to face more difficulty, right? Okay, so you try to take a short curve only from here to here. Imagine it's here, and then draw like this. Okay, so once if it's ended, since it was also a curve, if I continue, it may not come out exactly the way I want. So I always click on the previous point and then continue. Okay, so for in order to save our time, I'll just do it a rough one, because I hope you're just getting the idea of drawing it. Okay, now once it is done, or once you have completed the loop, or once you have clicked on the starting point, which was like this, and then I'm clicking here. Okay, once I'm clicking it, I'm also creating the curve. Okay, that means I know that it's completed now. Now once it is completed, what I will do is I will go to this eyedropper tool so that I can select color. If you are not satisfied with color, Control Z, you select other portion again. See? Okay, so I think I will use this, right? Okay, so don't worry about this part, because you know that we have a saved area here where we can close it with the hair. Okay, right. So I will not waste more time on doing all this, because you already know. If you're going for more detailing, I can, of course you can go bit by bit, like for this small part of the hair also, you can go for detailing like this also. You can do that. Okay, whenever you get time, you do that. But for now, I'll just go for the rough detailing, that is the outlines only. Okay, so I'll click here. I will start from here, leaving aside the curve, because in the end I can draw that. Okay, so I'll do it something like this, and then here. So in this portion also, I know that there is a small curve here. So that don't go directly there, just leave a little distance so you can create a curve. Yeah. So somewhere here, I'll create a curve. And then since I was drawing a curve, I click here again. Okay. Keep that in mind. So every time I create a curve, I always, as you can see, I always click back to that point. So see, this kind of thing which I wanted to tell. I was doing here, but then again, by mistake, I click here, which is not a continuous. So undo it again, just go back to that point again. That means you are starting from the place which you have made a mistake. Okay, so you can click like that. Once again, I'm clicking by mistakenly, I click here like this. Okay, so you can go back to that point, click once, then you can continue. Then I will do like this. Okay, right. So this one also, if you can use the previous color, that is this one, it will be better. Right. So let's see how we have created so far. I think that is okay. 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 So the next thing that you should be doing is you think about layer by layer. In this portion, the eye portion is the innermost. On top of that, you have the eyelash, and on top of that, you have this line. Sorry, you have the eye, this line only. After that, only you have this eyelash, right? But no matter what it can be, we can always arrange the layers also. So you can go for your own comfort. I will go for this. Let's just say eyeline. Okay, you can give any name. So I am going for this one so that I can get a line like this. So once you've ended the line, you know what to do. Since it's still following, you hit enter if you're completed, and let's see, right? Secondly, similarly here also, here it's not a complete curve, right? If we focus more on this area, it's not a complete curve from here to here. It's somewhat a straight line till here after only curve is going on. So what I'll do is from here to here. Not don't go directly here, okay? You just do it somewhere here. After that, you might be able to do the curve like this. Yeah, and then hit enter, and then we have something like this. Let's see. Sorry. Okay. All right. Next part, we'll go for the eyelash. Okay, this one. And that is also one of the important one because that makes up the part of the eye. And if you can make the eye properly, and if you can make nose and lips properly, then it is going to match that person or that face. Okay. Right. So this one I will name it as eyelash. And for this one, you don't try to focus on every detail. Okay. Try to put it on top here. Don't focus on every detail. You just focus on the dark portion here. Okay, it is going to look okay. All right. So I'll just start from here, straight lines, and then go up here. As you can see, when I do this one, the line is too thick. So that is why I've separated the layer with the properties, and then I will make it somewhat like 0.5 so that I can have a better preview. Okay. All right. So I'll restart over again. And then in this portion, you can see, you can just create a random curve. Okay. It doesn't have to be accurate, right? Like this. Okay. So for such kind of curve, remember, you have to click on the point, because if you don't click on the point again, it's going to come up something like this. See, it's not our required shape. Click once again, and then continue. Okay. Click once again, I'll continue. All right. So I'll just do it roughly for now. I hope you can adjust to that. So I'm always clicking on the point, okay, whenever I face curve. Okay. Okay, so I'm going a little bit fast so that we save some time. So I was saying that you focus on the dark portion only. So I can just cover that dark portion, whichever we have left, like this. Okay, and then see only this dark part. You try to cover that part, and I'm leaving some space for this portion because this is the what to say, the retina part. Okay, so this portion, the eyeball portion, that is also going to be separate. Is also going to be separate. Okay, and for that I will not focus on this one eyelash because we already know the technique of drawing that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this portion we need to change the color from the stroke to the fill color, that is shift X. We can always go back and change the color whenever needed. Okay, okay, so here it is. All right, now for the eye, always after this we have the eyeliner and then the eyelash. After that, you try before giving all these small touches, you focus on the eye. So for the eye, there is a technique which will do it one by one. If possible, you try to do it with left and right eye separately. Okay, even if it's in one layer, it's also okay. But if it is separated, it'll be better. Okay. For this portion, I will, if possible, you can turn off the eyelash ones. If not, I'll just zoom it because in this portion, it's going to be blocked by this. Okay. Okay. So it starts from here. There is some whitish portion, which I will come to that later on. So from here to here, I'm zooming. It's something like this. Okay. So you can draw a full curve like this, and I will change the point to somewhat 0.5. Okay, click back on that point again. Yeah, wherever there is a turning, here there is a turning again. So you try to click on that as a separate point, and you check once if you click here, and then if you can really create the curve as the eyes. Okay, I think this is okay. And I'll click back again, then I'll train like this. Okay, now once you've drawn this one, the technique is like this. You make a copy of this. Okay, you make a copy of this like this, right? And I will come back to that later on. Okay, so actually not now. After I draw a circle here, this portion, we know this portion is a circle or an ellipse. So I will draw like this. These two, you try to make a copy. Sorry, make a copy. Always make a copy of this one. Why I'm doing this is because, see, here we're not going to leave the retina bar like this portion. We're not going to leave this one like this. For that reason, I'm going to do something. Okay, you can use clipping mask. You can use the pathfinder. You can use anyone. Okay, so if I want to use the clipping mask, this must be in the front, right? In the front, and then I can like that clipping mask like this, right? Okay, or you can also use other options like using the pathfinder. You can always divide them. This one must be the divide, and after dividing, if you ungroup them, you have this portion, right? Okay, so this is the portion which we have been needing. I will remove this one now, right? Okay, so that's it. Now for the remaining part, if you can increase the stroke and then make it a little bit smaller, okay, that will do. But when you do that, remember, see, this portion is also coming down. Okay, that is why the reason why we have used uh, clipping mask is that reason. Okay, I will tell you again. Suppose if I bring this one and put it here, and if I increase the stroke or put some fill color or maybe some gradient also, this portion is also increasing. the upper portion. You can see this portion, and that is going to disturb our the design. So for that, it's more preferably to use our this one clipping mask. Okay, let's see why we're using clipping mask. I will bring this one to the front, this one right here, and I will make a clipping mask. Okay, so the innermost, that is the circle or the ellipse, if I increase the opacity like this, okay, you can see this portion is not disturbing anymore now. Okay, it's because of the clipping mask. So if you can use the clipping mask, it will be much better. Okay, so I'll remove this one now, and then I will bring it and put it in that position. Okay, we have this one now, which be actually black in color and a little bit smaller, I think. Right? Okay. Now let's move this one and let's check it. Yeah, this portion needs to be whitish. Okay, it's not white anymore. So this is the, I don't know what this is. This is the clipping mask part. Yes. Okay, before bringing that, we should have colored this one. That is white in color. And after that only, I will bring it. So remember, so you can see that intersect. That means they are in the same center. After that, checking at this one, see, we cannot still see that eyeball. So wherever that layer is, you can turn off that once, yeah, and check where the eyeball is. Okay, so for that, it's better to what to say, not to put this fill color from the starting itself. Okay. Anyway, just for reason, for our practice, I'll put it something like this and change this color to black. Okay, let's assume it's somewhere on the left, right? The more detailing we can do, but for now, let's leave it like this. And there's some small whitish portion, which I will put it like this. Okay, now once it is done, see, another technique is you can, we are going to change all this color, okay? But for now, you can leave it like this. We'll be changing all these colors. Okay? It's going to look weird if we just leave it like that. Okay, but anyway, let's see. From here to here, all this portion, right? Okay, one is this portion, another is this portion, that is the left eye, whole part. Okay, let's select all this portion. So see, I was trying to select all the layers. It's not that much easy. So for doing that, you can click on this that small circle, and then if we can right click transform and then reflect it. Let's check a preview. Only the portion is what? See, once again, okay. I've selected this part. Okay, this one is also selected or what? Yes. Okay. Unselected. Here, transform, reflect. Okay, now it's working. Make a copy, and then let's see if we can put this one in this portion here. Okay, and then rotate a little bit. Okay, so in some art, it is going to match, right? Because you know that for most people, the eye is for both sides, it's the reflection of the other. Okay, so we can do that. And for this portion, I'm just going to edit it a little bit. Not that one. Let's open the layers. Suppose this is the one. Okay, so this one I will maybe I'll bring this one here. Okay, and this eyelash will cover that area. Okay, like that will be going one by one, and you know it's going to take a lot of time for now, but I think you've got the idea for how to make the eye. Okay, and that one, for that one I can show you a sample. But remember, for each and every part that you draw, you try to make a new layer edge so that it will become easier for you to draw. Okay. And the most important part is the eye and the face structure. Okay. So for the face structure also, this is what you should be doing just to make it easier. Of course, you can go for more details like that also, but just to make it easier, you can, I'm going to make it face, and face should actually be somewhere at the bottom. Okay, because this face is going to block the other parts of the face again. All right. So here, if I make, I'm not going to draw the exact one, okay? Because it'll take some time. Okay, let's do like this. Let's say this is the face structure. Now, see, in this portion, we are not sure what kind of face structure it will be. So for that, what we can do is we're just going to cover it up like this randomly. Okay. And the only thing that you should be focusing is the outer portion only, okay, which is more clearly seen, right? You focus on that portion only. And let's say I want to put a color like this. Okay. After this, I can put it like this here. But when you do that, you are not able to see this other portion again. So for that also, I will turn it off once. And then after that only, you make a layer, which is going to be the hair, get the top hair. So I'll just make it like this. From this, okay, you try to start from this portion, because when you start from this portion, you can have a whole round part of the hair, and then come back and then end at the same portion. Okay, you may also edit these portions also. Okay, but for now, we'll just uh, I'll give you one more tips about that. Okay, how you can modify with this one instead of going here and there like this. I'll tell you one thing. Okay, all right. So just a random one again. Let's do like this. Okay, and then here also I need to be careful. All right. So this portion, the hair portion, remember, for me, what I used to do is I used to divide it into two parts. One is this portion, which is going to be in front of the face. And there is another portion there, which is going to be behind the face. Okay, so for behind the face, I leave it, I just leave it like this. Okay, which those portion will be another separate one. Okay, so let's say I have drawn something like this. And then I'll try to do it till the hair part, okay? And then after that, maybe we'll have to recontinue or rejoin the class. Okay. Okay. So that part is done. And then I'll put the color like this for now. Okay. Or something like this. Okay. We can change the color later on. But let's put the color like this. And this one here, see, the face is there. Okay. And in this face, if we do that, this portion is left out. And that part will be putting it behind the face. Okay, one by one. And one more thing that I was telling was this one. In this portion, here there's another part. That part again we are going to uh, put as a new layer. Okay, like this. Okay, so when